Hello, my name is Mrs. McClung and I am your English 9 teacher. I know you can't see my face. I'll make sure there's a picture of me on your page. I'm just going to be talking to you right now about our course and our expectations for this year. I'm going to be going over the syllabus. It's linked right here. Make sure that you either read back through it or make note of things while I go over this because there are some materials that I need you to make sure that you have for class. First off, this is a year-long course, English 9. You'll be in it the whole year. There are 2 teachers who teach it. Mrs. Hostetler teaches it, and then I teach it. We each have 3 sections, so you may or may not have me as your teacher for the full year. Mrs. H and I share some resources, so sometimes you may hear her voice on a video, sometimes you might hear my voice, but we both teach the same class, cover the same things, so the classes run in a pretty similar fashion. This year we will have reading units that we complete, we'll do vocab, we will have grammar. It may look a little bit different with projects, we'll just have to see how that goes, and then we have some smaller writing pieces that we'll do in class as well. The biggest thing that you're going to bring to class this year is your charged MacBook. We are going to be on the computers quite a bit, especially because we won't be able to give you very much paperwork, so we're really going to rely on our screens to read things. We would also like for you to have a notebook for this class. I like the composition style notebooks personally, but you can have any notebook. Just make sure it's only for this course. So don't get a notebook that you're going to share with your math class or your history class. Make sure it's just a subject notebook for just this course. I would like for you to have that by next week on Thursday. We're going to take notes in it, and you're going to show me those notes when you visit my classroom, or if you don't happen to visit my classroom next week, then you will show me the following week, but you definitely need to have that notebook. So that's all you need really for the class, other than a pen or pencil, something to write with. Highlighters are always great. Again, that just depends if we'll be able to use those or not, but definitely need something to write with. Definitely need your charged MacBook. If you or your parents are interested in what we read this year, we do read some short stories and poetry from a textbook, but you will not get a textbook. We will post those online. We read the epic poem, The Odyssey, and it's not a little poem. It takes several days to read, about an adventure done by a Greek person, so there's a lot of Greek mythology in that. It's really fun to read. Animal Farm is where we'll start off this semester, by George Orwell. Again, your parents, grandparents may know that book, and then we read Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. Class rules: you do definitely need to be in your assigned seat when the bell rings. You need to have your MacBook. Typically, we'll already be working on a quick write, which is like a journaling prompt when the bell's gone off. Participation is always wonderful, and then you just need to make sure that you're respecting your space, your classmates' space, and my space when you're in the classroom. Typically, we're always going to give you a warning, a verbal warning. If you're not doing something correct, I will let you know. It would never be my first step to call home or to send you to the office. You're going to get some grace in this classroom as far as learning how to act, but after one warning, there will be consequences and bigger steps taken. For grading, you are expected to get classwork done in class, homework done outside of class. If there's something that happens that makes it so you can't turn things in, then you just need to communicate with me. But for the most part, we're not going to take that late work, so just make sure that you're keeping track of due dates. A lot of the work is done inside the classroom. It's not going to be a hard class to do things outside of school. We do a lot of work inside of school. We do have weighted grades, so every test you take goes into 25% of your grade. We normally take 2 tests at least per quarter. You will have writing assignments and typically at least 1 essay per quarter, and that's 25%. We do quiz pretty often. Every 2 weeks you take a vocabulary quiz. Those quizzes, we normally have 3, count for 10% of your grade. Typically around 3 grammar quizzes. Those also account for 10% of your grade. Reading quizzes over whatever we've been reading in class, or maybe just a short passage, those will also be included in 10% of your grade. So sometimes it feels like we're taking a quiz a day, but there's just different types of quizzes, and they count for different parts of your grade. So just, again, kind of be prepared. You'll always be forewarned about a quiz, but we do like to see how we're doing and do kind of just temperature checks on our knowledge pretty often. Daily work, that's what we do in class. Sometimes that will be homework, but for the most part, that 15% is what you do when you're in here with me. And then the final 5% vocabulary is most of the time going to be done as homework. They're quick vocabulary assignments on Canvas that you'll do outside of class, and that accounts for 5%. So I know that's a lot of things, but add all that together, that's 100% what your grade looks like in each quarter of English 9. Same thing with Mrs. H. We follow the same policies. I already mentioned late work again. If you're going to turn in something late, just make sure you're communicating with me. Cheating and plagiarism is not accepted. I typically don't have any issues with that in class. Just make sure that your eyeballs are on your screen, on your paper, on your area. They are not looking around at other people. You're not trying to look at anything online. Lockdown browser helps a lot with that. And then just if you're going to borrow someone else's words, just make sure you quote them. Do not steal other people's work. There are referral processes for that. If you do plagiarize, you are going to have that impact your grades pretty heavily. So it's best to just do your own work all the time. And then this technology policy is just an agreement that you are going to come with your computer. You are going to make sure that it is charged. You do want to have earbuds or headphones with you at all times just because it makes the class a lot easier. If you want to listen to something as an audio instead of reading it on your own, you have that option quite often. So make sure you have those with you. And then just as the school policy states, we cannot have cell phones in the classroom. So you need to leave those. And I need to update this, I will right now, you need to make sure that you leave those in your locker. We can't use the classroom policy with the cell phone pockets anymore. So students are advised to leave their phones in their lockers. Otherwise, it's going to go to Mr. Fosnot in the front office. I do not think this is a difficult class. Sometimes I get that. Are we going to read a lot? Are we going to write a lot? We do read, we do write, but we do a good mix of a lot of other things, and we try to pick really interesting reading assignments so that you're good to go through the year. For today, you've already gotten into the module. After you watch this video from Mr. Huseman, who is our student teacher, he'll be with us for this first quarter. You're going to complete this Google form. Let me know if you have any questions on the discussion board, and then you are done with the module and should be good to go. So let's make sure we start this year off on the right foot. You understand the syllabus, you're telling mom or dad or your guardian that you need a notebook for this class, and then you're just making sure you have a pen, earbuds, and a charged device, and we should be good to go when we meet each other in person. I hope you've all had a wonderful experience when you've gotten here. I know your mentors are probably awesome, so I just can't wait to meet you in person. Thanks.